He applies those lessons across domains, weaving knowledge from sport into strategy, from policy into performance. Bill Scanlan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tracy. What a wonderful intro.
You're known for creating empowering environments for teams. How do you approach this intentionally?
I think that comes to understanding everybody within your team and understanding their motivations, their journey, and their strengths and their weaknesses.
What is something about leadership that you feel people get wrong?
I think people think leadership's glamorous and that it's a massive sort of ego boost to be able to wander around and tell people what they should be doing, but it's actually the complete opposite.
If you could go back to Bill before he went to France, what's one bit of advice you give him?
I think about probably all the energy I must have consumed being worried about this might happen, that might happen. I think it would be not to worry.
Hello and welcome to the Real Biz Life Chronicles, where we discuss all things business, branding and life from the Horizon Digital podcast recording studio here in Perth. I'm your host, Tracy Fryer, the founder of Design Studio Perth. And because Design Studio Perth is dedicated to helping business owners grow with distinction through captivating branding and design, we're offering all our listeners a free brand discovery. So if you find yourself frustrated with your current brand or you simply don't have one, use the link in the show notes below to book in a time to have a chat. Now, the Real Biz Life Chronicles is on a mission to become one of Australia's leading business podcasts. But in order to do that, we please need your help. If you do enjoy today's episode, which I have no doubt that you will, we please ask that you like and subscribe to our channels below, or simply share this episode with a fellow business owner who is in the trenches doing one of the hardest things in the world, building a business. My guest today gave up a secure job, packed a bike and a bag, and moved to France to chase a dream. No French, no plan, just a belief in something more. This story isn't just about sports, economics, and even leadership. It's about what happens when you trust the process, honor the long game, and back yourself completely. He's a deep thinker, a rational mind, and a generous leader. Those who work with him say he creates environments where everyone, no matter their level, can thrive. Here's the part most people miss. This isn't a strategy, it's instinct. He's wired to empower others. He doesn't chase the spotlight or short-term wins. He plays long games for the collective good and quietly shapes futures as he goes. He's endlessly curious. Fascinated by history, economics, and a high performance in any field, he is always on the hunt for insight. He studies remarkable people and teams, not to admire from afar, but to extract lessons. Then he does something rare. He applies those lessons across domains, weaving knowledge from sport into strategy, from policy into performance. And while LinkedIn shows him as a partner at Ernst Young, here's what you won't find there. He once raced the Hawaiian Ironman World Championships twice and still competes with the passion of a 20-year-old. His life has been driven by a love of performance, purpose, and always learning. If there was a theme song that played when this person enters the room, it would be Even Flow by Pearl Jam. Steady, layered, unshakably real. This episode, it's about values, high performance, and the power of dreaming. And even when the NBA never calls. He's the quiet force behind the bold moves. Bill Scanlan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tracy. What a wonderful intro.
Oh, you're so welcome. I am so looking forward to our chat today.
Likewise, yes. An even flow. Wow.
Yeah, yes. That came as a recommendation from someone close to you.
Very good.
Bill, you left a secure job to chase a triathlon dream in France. No French, no plan. What drove that leap?
I think curiosity, and I think a deep sort of feeling that life's there to be lived and things are there to be explored, that there's a world out there. I'd been probably sort of an amateur triathlete for a long time, really loved the sport, was super committed to it, and as an amateur balanced a career with triathlon. Triathlon's ridiculously time intensive.
Oh, so I've
so that
heard.
was always difficult, and I spent many afternoons falling asleep at my desk after early morning trainings and the like. And sometimes there's sort of sadness drives these things. I lost my mum around that time, and that, of course, makes you reflect.
It
and
does.
makes you think, well, we want to live our best lives. So why not go on an adventure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I know from doing my own marathons, the pure dedication that it takes to train, to prep not only your body but your mind as well for a triathlon. How did you go about doing that?
It's something that probably in hindsight comes naturally to me. I love the process. I love the preparation.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I love all that more than the race.
Oh, really?
But you can't sort of have the process if you don't have the race at the end.
True.
Because, it's something that needs to be planned. It requires constant commitment. It requires dedication, and it requires having great people around you as well. And that's something I really learned through my time being a professional athlete was, while triathlon is an individual sport, there's no way you could compete at the highest level without an amazing team of people around you, advising you, coaching you, fixing your bike, looking after your body, looking after your nutrition, looking after your mental state, all those sorts of things, building your brand so that you can earn income. All those sorts of things are pivotal as well. And I think for me, jumping in and having a go made me learn about building teams for success. Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier that your mom passed, and I guess it's always, I find when someone does pass, it kind of catapults you into a new perspective. Did you say that kind of was the driving force behind doing the triathlon?
I'd been doing triathlon long before Mum passed away, and I'd been doing it, as I say, as an amateur and balancing a career at the same time, and always having these aspirations of maybe doing it at a higher level.
Yeah.
But, sometimes you do need a bit of a jolt, right? Or a bit of a pause and a reflection. And I think, huge cataclysmic events like that did, if nothing else, gave me the courage in a weird sort of way just to sort of follow your dreams. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for next week. Just go and do it.
Yeah.
While you can. So.
It's so true. I had a very, shall we say, character building year last year.
Yes.
And I found that kind of, again, catapults me into this, the running and the fitness and just having those, I guess, that focus on, working towards something really helped with that process. And I find it gives you resilience that no one else can take away from you.
Yeah, I think so. It gives you a perspective, and it also gives you a purpose in a way, because I think Mum would be proud.
Of course, yeah.
And that's a super strong motivating factor. Yeah.
And how did you find afterwards? Because I must say, I've done the 2 marathons, and then obviously the second one, I had a serious dip. And then someone said, no, it's because, I don't know what they termed it, but like when you've had a goal and you reach it and then you kind of have a dip after.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, I've got the next one booked, so next marathon booked, so it can't be that. Have you experienced that before?
Very much so. Much so. I think that's a huge part of the sport or the life, if you like. Particularly, so I did long distance triathlons. I did the Ironman triathlons was my focus. So they're the ones that sort of go all day, if you like. And you don't do too many of them a year. So you're always gearing up for a big race.
Yeah.
And for months and months and months and months, it's almost like that race is your reason for being. It's your focus.
Right.
It's the first thing you think about when you get up. It's the last thing you think about when you go to bed.
So all-consuming.
Yeah. And so you do the race and win, lose or draw. The next day and the days after can be really challenging.
Interesting.
Because it's quite an empty feeling at times.
Yes, that's how I felt.
Yes.
It wasn't just me, you.
No, it's not just you. It's not just you. And yeah, having future races on the cards can be one sort of way to try and address that. But in a way, I don't know if you can avoid it, right? It is part of the process, and it's part of the highs and the lows, but it is one, and it's good for you to raise it because it is one that's often not talked about.
Precisely,
very much, so people aren't aware then why they might feel a bit flat following a big event.
Because I've noticed a lot of influencers that, they speak about the prep for running and eat this, do that, have these shoes, have this, headset, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, I haven't seen anyone speak about that kind of a bit of a dip that you have afterwards. So yeah, I just find it very interesting. This time around.
And I think we should probably all be talking about it more, right? And it's also something very relevant, and I find I'm very curious around athletes after they retire, how they go. Sort of transitioning back into perhaps a more normal life, or how do they adapt to missing that adrenaline and that purpose and that rush and the euphoria. And I think it's similar in the military, for instance, and I think that's something our society is sort of grappling with and needs to work on is sort of how you adapt back to a more, I don't know if mundane is the right word, but let's say a more day-to-day, a more day-to-day life.
But it's almost, I guess, like when a business owner sells their business and then they have to try integrate into, whatever it is that they're going to do. Or because I've noticed the highs and lows with sports is very extreme. Like I was high for 2 days after my first marathon. I was like, yes, I can do like anything. Whereas this one, I was like, so very interesting.
It is, and I think that's part of. Again, that's something I enjoy, and that might sound funny to say you enjoy the lows. I don't sort of necessarily enjoy the lows, but I enjoy the extremes.
Yeah.
And I think you probably have to have the lows to have or appreciate the highs. It's just, there's no free lunch. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
But I enjoy living sort of on the edges. I think that's where I feel at peace, actually, if I'm often like to think of it sort of on the bleeding edge of sanity and emotion and all that stuff. That's where I'm comfortable.
And Bill, do you find it's like a therapy for you? Because I found, like again with this one, if there's stuff you haven't dealt with, it suddenly comes to the surface, and then you are left to kind of process that. But obviously feeling a lot better having dealt with that. Do you find the same?
I do, and there's probably a few things that spring to mind. Often racing, I find in my experience, can bring out emotions that you didn't, or feelings or stresses that you didn't know were there.
Yeah.
And I think it's the race sort of pares everything away. Rest of life disappears for a certain amount of time.
Right.
And the raw whatever's in your sort of guts are there, guts and mind, and they often come to the fore at unexpected times.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, right, okay. And so that goes to, I think, from that, I think it's sort of wise to think about your state of being before you enter a race.
Yeah.
So that stuff doesn't unexpectedly
Yes, what I learned now.
Yeah.
It's something I've come to really, really enjoy. And so when did you start with your fitness journey? Quite young, or
when did I start? I think as a primary school boy, I got into and loved basketball. Absolutely loved it. I sort of stumbled in it. I wasn't very sporty as a young boy, like a young boy. I didn't really understand and wasn't exposed to a lot of sports. And I somehow joined a local basketball team, I think because Mum wanted to get me out of the house. And I was absolutely the worst player on the team.
Right.
Absolutely. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But from that, something within me, came to the fore, and I thought, well, I don't want to be the worst player. I want to be the best player. And so I sort of through that discovered this drive or this curiosity or determination or what have you to practice and practice and practice and practice. And so I think in a way that's when I started my fitness journey. And what I used to do, and I ended up playing basketball at a reasonably high level, And I was never the most naturally gifted player, but I always used to think, well, the things that you can do are be fit and be strong and be ready and do the hard work behind the scenes that helps others that are more talented do their thing.
Yeah.
So along with basketball, I also fell in love with the fitness side of things and learned and tried and did all sorts of things. So it started there.
Yeah.
And over time, basketball faded away and the fitness sort of faded up. But it was never a plan. It was always, a friend suggested one day, well, maybe you should try doing a triathlon.
Yes, parkrun. My friend said the same. And I thought,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Damn, and bless those friends.
There you go. Yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Bill, being a high performer, what role has sports and fitness played in that, being a high performing person?
For me, I think it's sort of almost everything. I feel very lucky, actually, because through sport, again, without knowing it at the time, I've learned so much about life, but also about myself and what gives me my energy, what takes energy away from me, how do I be my best self every day. That's very similar to training, right? You've got to do the training every day. You can't just wake up and think, oh, I don't really feel like it today. No. You got to do it when you don't want to do it. And it's often said, and it's something I believe in, we can all be motivated at times and do great things, but it's the times when you don't want to do it, the times when you're tired, the times when you've had enough, but you still go and do what you got to do. They're the most important times. So it's it's with me, it's part of me. I think it will always be part of me. I can't imagine not sort of exercising and being fit. I can't imagine how I'd get through my days without it. Yeah. I really can't. It gives me balance and peace and purpose and mind space and so many things, so many things.
And I don't know about you, I often find on those days where I don't want to go and then I force myself to go, and then that was the day I realised I needed it most because I feel so much better afterwards. Are you the same?
Yeah, I often feel that, and it's quite amazing, I find, when you feel you're so tired that you're like, oh, the last thing I want to do is go for a run or go for a ride. Yeah, but your body's an amazing thing. Like once you're out there doing it, your body, you don't feel tired. You feel energized and refreshed and inspired. Yeah. So it's, the things our bodies can do are pretty remarkable.
So true.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you shared about the fitness side of things, because I find not only business owners, a number of people are just like, I hate exercise, I don't have time, or I don't make time for it. Yeah. But I think from our own personal journey, it's so like integrated into helping you with every single other aspect of your life, so to make time for it. I've got a calendar blocked out, like that's my fitness time. Yes. That's when I go, because what I used to do is I'd leave it till the end of the day, and then I was like, oh, I'm too tired, I won't go. Now it's like in the calendar, in bright purple, have to go. And it's just been like a life changer. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get an immense amount of value from it. And I think as humans, we're all designed to be active in some form. So I think, if we can all find what works for us, this morning, for example, I flew in back to Perth late last night and did need to catch up on a bit of sleep. So I had a little sleep in. But I jumped on my little indoor trainer for 10 minutes. Yeah. And, that 10 minutes is just time to refresh and get ready for the day. And it helps me. So it does, yeah. I actually got a spin bike that sits right in my office, Alejandro, and like 20 minutes on there, and I'm like, good to go.
You're a new person.
100%. And I just have to literally walk a meter and jump on him, and then I just goes.
Yeah, that's right.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah. And, for me, with the technology we have these days, you could listen to a podcast, you could listen to music, you could listen to the news, you could watch something on...
Completely. Yeah, got everything at our fingertips, literally.
Yeah, so it's... Well, it's super important to me. I think it really helps me do what I do.
Yeah. And Bill, what were some of the lessons you learned about yourself, during those years of racing abroad?
Whoa, what were some lessons I learned? I think I think the biggest lesson I learned was about what I was touching on earlier, sort of the team of people around you and the importance of having wonderful people around you.
Huge.
And the realization that, in this world, no one can do anything on their own. Anything sort of, I think, worth doing. There's, but behind the surface, there's always a lot of great people. And I think implicitly that taught me, because I am a little bit of a quiet person, perhaps, that taught me that I could be the centre of a team that was helping me. So it taught me about my own brand. It taught me about my own sort of purpose and how I could potentially. That sort of sounds a bit sinister, but when other people are aligned with your purpose, the power of that is quite phenomenal.
Yeah, very true.
And I also I probably also learned, just give it a go. And that sounds really cliche, but I gave the racing at a pro level a go, but also with that I was doing coaching, I was doing writing for triathlon mags and things that I never think I could have done. For whatever reason I tried, and then when I tried I found I was okay at it.
Yeah.
So I think I learned, if you've got an interest, really do what you can to pursue it.
I can relate to a lot of that as well. I mean, at school I was never really, super sporty. I joined the marching band for some reason and played netball. No judging. No. So when it came to the running, and when Mel invited me to parkrun, I was like, oh my word, I can't run, but I'll go anyway. And then, just kind of like it ignited something, and it's just like been, life-changing.
Yeah,
so
it's
been good.
Yeah.
Bill, for our listeners, perhaps you could let us know what it is that you do at Ernst Young.
What I do at Ernst Young? Yes, okay. I'm a partner at Ernst Young. I've been there nearly 10 years. I think actually in a couple of weeks it'll be 10 years.
Congrats.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, wow,
it's frightening. When I first joined, I thought I'd stay for a year.
Oh, really?
That was my plan.
Yeah. 9 years later.
9 years later, I'm still here, and damn it, I love it.
Oh, good.
So I'm not going anywhere. So look, I lead a team called Infrastructure Advisory, and I always say that sounds a bit boring, infrastructure, but it's not. We do a lot of work with corporates and governments. If you think about it, typically before a big investment decision might be made, there's a lot of thinking to go into: is it wise? Is it prudent?
Yeah, of course.
What are our options? Should we do it now? Should we do it later? Who's going to benefit from this? And the privilege that I have is we get to be part of those conversations across so many different sectors. So, and that's the thing I love about the job. It's not confined to a sector. We work in transport, we work in resources, we work in health, we work in anything, anything you can name. We've probably done bits and pieces. So I lead that team. I've been a partner with that team for 6 years now.
Yeah, great.
And I was recently took on the role also of being EY's WA government lead. So that's something I'm really enthused about because I'm fascinated by government and the challenges and conundrums that government deal with, and I'm fascinated by good policy and good government. And I'm really keen to help, to see what I can do in that role, again, which is an amazing privilege, to really, facilitate a more open conversation between an organisation like EY and our governments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, Bill, it sounds like everything you do, you always give, so much of yourself, and you're a high achiever. What's something you're most proud of?
What's something I'm very proud of where I am today, and I do look at it as a great privilege, and I look at it as a great responsibility.
Yeah.
One that I want, absolutely, but one that shouldn't be taken for granted. So I guess in a way I'm proud to have forged a career in a space that I absolutely love. So for me, it never feels like a job. It feels like a purpose. It feels like my life. It's not sort of job me and non-work me. It's all one and the same. So to be able to sort of create that, because I've been given a lot of freedom and flexibility, and where I am today has been the result of what I've created, either deliberately or accidentally, or with a grand plan, or just luck. But the point being that to sort of be able to do that, I'm really proud of that, and to do that in a way that aligns with my values and my principles. I think also is, I don't feel I've had to sort of bend my values and principles to make a successful corporate career, for example.
Which a lot of people do.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I sort of feel in a way the opposite. In a way, I've been able to, and again, I don't know, being able to, maybe it's just sort of happened, but sort of build a career that lines up and is based on my values and principles. And I guess in a way that's probably where the magic is, right? When you're doing what you fundamentally believe in, that's what gives me the energy. Again, it's not about short-term deadline or client wants this. It's a deep-seated purpose that I have a role to play to try and help where I can on certain things that are really important for our community. So, that's something I'm really proud of.
Yeah, and it sounds like you've lived very intentionally. So I think I'm one of those people, I only define my values a lot later in life, but you just realise it becomes your compass from which you do everything. And it sounds like you had that very clearly defined from the beginning. You've kind of operated from there. Am I right in saying that?
I think so. I think so. I don't know that if I've, again, how much is deliberate and how much just sort of happens because of who you are. I don't really know, but I think I have always had some compass. I have always sort of thought I know where I am and I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I think without that I'd be I'd probably be a terrible human being. I'd be lost.
Yeah, me both.
I'd be lost and confused. So I love, again, it's the journey. It's a bit like going back to the training in triathlon. That was the bit I loved, not the race, because the race, in a way, is the end.
Yes. Bittersweet.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And Bill, from Ironman to EY, what are some of the traits that carry over from sports into career and business?
Yeah, I think there's so many. And again, I think I find myself really fortunate to be able to carry those traits over. And it's something, so to sort of help start that question, I think, or start to answer that question, when I stopped or paused my career the first time, to go and pursue a dream of being a pro triathlete, I was super worried about what it would mean for my career. Yeah. To take time out, and not be there, not be doing the work, not be gaining the experience. And in the end, it was probably 3 years that I was sort of absent from a career point of view. And of course, when I came back, I started fairly well down the lower end of the ladder again, which was, of course, fair and reasonable. But I think my big learning has been that time gave me so much value without knowing it, that it's Not that I ever wanted it to pay itself back, but it has paid itself back. So I think what are the lessons? One was branding, and you and I have talked about branding, but I never thought about myself and a brand. But as a triathlete, you need sponsors.
Completely.
So you need a brand. And that gave me confidence to, one, do those things, but also just to think about them and to realise the value of them, and to think about yourself in terms of, okay, if I talk to a running shoe company, what would they want to see in me? There's lots of athletes around. So I think it sort of the element of uniqueness, the element of your
USPs,
story, those sorts of things were real life lessons. I'm forever grateful that I think triathlon and the training taught me around sort of just managing your life, managing the stresses, managing your energy, being able to cope through really difficult periods, and having the energy day in, day out. And I think that is what would I say? It's sort of, again, it's that consistency, which I think is really, really valuable. We can all be great on a day, but in my profession now, every day I have to rock up. There's people depending on me.
Yeah.
I have to be on my game. I have to have the right headspace. I have to have the energy. So it taught me a lot about, sort of just getting the best out of yourself, I guess.
And giving you that like toolkits?
That's right. That's right. There's probably so many more things that it taught me. I think it taught me about winning, and it taught me about high performance.
Yeah.
I loved having the chance to sort of hang around and train with athletes that I had read about.
Oh, amazing.
And it's just to pick their brain and to see how they go about the business and how they go about who they are. And I think it also, now that I'm talking, it probably helped me think about probably sort of filtering out all the noise in our lives.
There's so much of it, yeah.
So I think a lot of the great athletes I stumbled on and had the pleasure to ride a bike with or whatever, had that ability to focus on what they're doing and not be swayed by anything else.
Yeah.
You know, of course, and I think that's super important, because we all have bad days, we all have bad things happen, we all have stuff that's way, way, way out of our control. So, and again, it's a real cliche, but the ability to not get caught up in things you can't control.
Yeah.
It's that sort of having that clear mind, I think is something that taught me really well, which pays off.
Another key thing that you've mentioned, I've probably the last, when I say year and a half to 18 months, have learned the power of this, is focus.
Yeah.
Like Tracy used to be in headless chicken mode doing 25 million things, and I'm like, oh, my hair's on fire, and I'm in there, but just this is through my mentor, just, focusing on key things, and the result has been crazy.
Yes.
Like, I know I fought against doing it, but I'm so glad I did.
Yes.
And just, focusing your intention, your energy, and just getting rid of all the other, excuse the word, crap.
Yes.
And just, going for gold on a couple of things as opposed to trying to do 25 things all at once. Because I now realize it slows you down actually when you do it that way.
Yeah. It's amazing you say that. Before this podcast, I texted a friend because I often write down little quotes that I like.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, same.
And I was reading some of my quotes, and I forget who said it, but it was, if you chase two rabbits, both will escape.
Yeah, that's so good. I need to put that in my journal.
Put that in. I think it's Chinese in origin. But yes, it does teach you about focus, and it also teaches you, I think in a similar vein, you can do all the right things and still have a bad outcome.
Completely.
So it teaches you not to worry about the outcome is the outcome, right? But the process, if you trust the process and do the process, yes, you have failures, but if you stick with the process because you believe in it and you believe in your focus, then I think, good things will happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Bill, how did you go overseas with your triathlon?
I went really well. I managed to turn professional. So you sort of need endorsement from the triathlon body that
it's a
yes,
process,
you have the sort of CV to race as a professional athlete.
Yeah, wow.
And in a way, that kind of in some ways was my main objective, right? I probably never really thought, oh, this is going to be my life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to race for 20 years. And it was more, and it's, I think one of the first words that came to mind when you asked earlier was a curiosity as to what it's like to be at that pinnacle and be surrounded by people that are exceptional, and how that works, and what it's like living that life where your, let's say, job in sort of inverted commas, depends on you performing in a race on any given day. Just that whole environment, I think's fascinating. So so I became professional, which was awesome. I sort of had sponsors, and as I say, did writing for organisations and the like. So tick tick tick, but I think even more fundamentally, I fell into, and I've talked about it a lot today, like having great people around me. I fell into this amazing group of people on the other side of the country that we connected with despite a language barrier.
Awesome.
My French got a little bit better over time. So I think successful in a way, they're the richer, as I sit here now, that's the richer sort of feeling of success, to just be part of a group of people that I have huge admiration, love and trust for, and to learn from them. And then I think in a sporting sense, something that always stays with me is there's a mountain in France called Mont Ventoux.
Okay.
You might have seen it if you watched the Tour de France. It's in Provence. It's a huge mountain, sort of 2,000 metres above sea level.
Wow.
And often the tour riders go up the top of the mountain, and it's unique in that at some point you get beyond a sort of tree line.
Right.
And this mountain is barren. It sort of looks like a moonscape.
Oh, wow.
And it's incredibly windy. Vent in the name. Ventoux is wind. So
right.
Sort of, windy mountain. And for some reason, I was always fascinated by this mountain. I mean, many people are. It's something really unique. So whenever the riders went up Mont Ventoux, it was like, it's a big day on the tour, and there's been some amazing things happen on that mountain in the cycling world over time. Anyhow, there's sort of a few connections there, because I think one day Mum and I watched the stage where the riders went up Mont Ventoux, and it was an epic stage, and we were sat there glued to our seats, and it became a really special place. And when I was over there, the triathlon body started the Mont Ventoux Triathlon, which had never been done before.
Oh, okay.
And it involved a swim, as it always does, and the bike leg went up Mont Ventoux and back down again. So huge bike leg, and then a long run afterwards. And so we as in my coach and I decided to target that race. Yeah. And I won it.
Oh my goodness! Wow, amazing!
So
I just won it. Well, I think you're exceptional.
Well, but again, it's probably something to do with purpose, right? It was a really special place for so many reasons. And it was my coach and good friend that first took me up Ventoux as on a training ride, and he knew it backwards, and he told me all the stories, and it was a special mountain for him as well. So, everything seemed to align around this weird mountain. Yeah.
Very majestic by the sounds of it.
Yeah. So that, I think, yes, it was successful. I finished, really well in a lot of sort of highly competitive races. But again, I guess for me, more like iconic races. So just being there and racing at that level in these iconic races was so special.
Yeah, it would have been. Not Lake Rumble in Joondalup, right? Well, I'd love to know, let's talk about quitting. Obviously, there's times when being such a high performer, there's times where being human, you must want to quit, right? What's your driver? What keeps you going?
Gosh, I don't know. Quitting.
Is quitting not an option?
Is quitting not an option? I think for me, again, I don't want to sound cliche, but
no, safe space.
If you're in a space that aligns with your values and your principles and where you want to be and where you want to go, I don't think too much about quitting. I can't, and this sounds terrible.
No, it's fine.
I can't think of something I've quit per se, but I think where you put your energy changes all the time and always adjusting that sort of thing. So I think perhaps a way to answer your question is having that ability to constantly shift, not in a dramatic sense, but for example, in my corporate role, there's so many distractions or things that could consume you, or people asking things of you, or people wanting things of you, that it's very easy, I think, to just get pulled in 1,000 different directions. So I think if you're constantly evaluating where your energy goes and why it goes there, and whether that aligns with your sense of where you want to be going, that's probably a sort of subtle version of quitting when you choose, look, I'm not going to do that because it doesn't sort of, I don't see a purpose or an end state in that. So I think it's probably also something to do with having you mentioned it in the outset, like a long-term view.
Yes.
So there are days and times where I will know that this is not working right now. Park it, come back to it when it's going to gel and it's, your mind's going to be in a different state or your energy's going to be different.
Yeah, that is powerful to step away.
Yeah, so those sorts of things you could say quitting's probably not the right word, but you have to park certain things and then
it's kind of navigate, right?
Yeah, then they will one day, you might come back to them with a whole new perspective and view, and the magic happens. Yeah. So I don't feel I haven't really answered that question.
No, you have. It's good. No, good insights. What is something about leadership that you feel people get wrong?
Oh, that's a good question. My own reflection on that is I think people think leadership's glamorous and fun, and that it's a massive sort of ego boost to be able to wander around and tell people what they should be doing. And I think there's sort of a commonly held view that it's, I'm not sure easy is the right word, but it's simple and clean.
I know what you mean.
I think sometimes people say things to me like, oh, well, it's easy for you. You get what you want. You're a leader. But it's actually the complete opposite for me in that I think leadership is messy. I never get what I want. I'm always settling on the second, third, fourth best solution to a problem. I'm always making sacrifices that I know will bite us, but I have to because it's a suboptimal world that you're given.
Tough calls you have to make.
Yeah. But I think the thing that sticks most true to me is that leadership is a responsibility, and it's easy to say that, but to live that day in, day out and to wear that and to know that there's people depending on you, and their sort of life and future is in your hands.
It's a lot.
So I have a huge responsibility to do my best for them. And so it's really in that sense not about me, it's about them. So I think I'm of the sort of school of thought that leadership is about serving others, and I think the you sort of asked around what people get wrong. I think I would say it's the sort of model where leadership is seen as being about the leader.
Yeah.
So yeah, but also that it's messy.
Yes.
It's really, really messy.
Yeah.
And it's hard to describe that, but nothing works as planned. As a leader, you're never sort of fully ready for whatever you're about to jump into.
That is true.
But you have to bring your best self regardless. So it's a wild ride. It's huge. Wouldn't sort of trade it for anything, but. The responsibility can be really heavy at times, really heavy. Yeah.
And how do you navigate that responsibility?
How do I do that? First, with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. But I think for me, it's, again, I look at what I do as a tremendous privilege.
Yeah, I love that.
So it's sort of, how do I navigate? It's a non-negotiable. It's the job, and it's sort of first thing you think of when you get out of bed, and the last thing you think of when you shut the laptop down before you go to sleep. So I guess I navigate it that way. I don't know how I navigate it, to be honest, but I guess I quite feel comfortable with sort of, in my mind, going through all the people that are dependent in some way on me and thinking, right, has this person got what they need from me? Has this person got what they need? How is this person feeling? How can I help this person? That sort of empathy, I think, is a tremendous skill that's not talked about much in leadership as well.
Yes.
And that sort of comes for some reason naturally to me. But yes, I guess you also, there are times when it all does feel like a bit too much.
Yeah.
And I guess then you've got to know how, you've got to know in yourself, right, when you need time away, or when you need to go for a long bike ride.
Yes, or a long run.
Yeah. Or when you need to maybe drink a little bit too much and forget about the world for a while.
Yes.
So I think that ability to sort of step back and look at yourself and know where you are and what you need, because you can't just sort of keep going forever. Like, yes, we talk about resilience and all those sorts of things, but I think all of us are human.
We have a tipping point.
Yeah, and all of us need to be well aware of when we need to sort of look after ourselves, or change tack, or change a conversation, or change a dynamic, or go somewhere else, or just, I think, change something is often what I think of. Whoa, shit, this isn't working. What can I change?
Yeah. And again, I can relate to what you're saying. So I think it was a few weeks ago as well. My head was just an absolute pretzel. There was so much going on, and I was just like, I think I drove a few people crazy. And then I went to Ember Bathhouse. They've got like a sauna.
Nice.
I love that place. And it feels like you in another planet. And just went for an hour and a half on my own. No distractions, just kind of chilled out, and wow, like it was profound. I just had a lot of clarity afterwards, and I was like, Tracy, why don't you do this more often? Again, certain people in my life say, Tracy, just take the time out. I'm like, no, I have to go. But just having that hour and a half of just relaxing just kind of cleared my head. It was so powerful. I definitely need to make more time for that.
No, and look, I totally agree. So I think you're right. You've prompted me. There's those sorts of things that are part of my day that I make sure happen.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky. I've got a little sauna at home.
Oh,
and
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
So nice. I thought I was so stoked with my bike.
And every night without fail, I jump in the sauna.
No wonder your skin is glowing. Jeez, like I need one of those at home.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good.
So good. I've been eyeing them out, but yeah, it's nice.
But the other thing you make me think of, and it sort of has parallels with what we're talking about, is getting out on the bike. And again, it's easy to say get out on the bike, but having the sort of background I do, I can go and ride and really, really hard, really sort of at a high level. And it's an ironic thing, but often that really helps clear my head, because when you're out giving it full gas on a bike or running or whatever,
totally,
you can't think of anything else.
You're trying to keep yourself alive.
That's right, exactly. And it's so deep and fundamental that you are trying to keep yourself alive, that everything else falls away.
It does. Yeah, that's what I love about it.
And it's probably, I don't meditate, but it's probably a similar sort of
very cathartic
concept.
100%.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I do as well, I guess. Yeah.
And well, you're known for creating empowering environments for teams. How do you approach this intentionally?
I think that comes to understanding everybody within your team and understanding their motivations, their journey and their strengths and their weaknesses, and thinking, righto, how can I harness this person's strengths with this person's strengths to create a great outcome?
Yeah.
So for me, it's been a lot about diversity within the team, and also understanding that diversity and understanding where people thrive and areas where they don't thrive, and that's including myself. So it's not sort of it's not being critical of anyone. I often say, to folk in my team, we're not expected to do everything and be perfect at everything and be everything to everyone. But we know where we're really good and we know where we need a little bit of help from others.
Yes.
And so it's about putting all those pieces of the puzzle together. And I think, maybe from an outset, in a way, or perhaps the old EY might not have, diversity might not, in my mind, might not have been as well. Trying to find the right words here. Let's just say I've really deliberately, I think, built a diverse team for that reason, so that we can grapple with anything, because within our team we've got so many strengths, and I think that's been part of the success that we've been able to have.
Great.
Being able to harness those strengths and being able to harness people's passions and the like. So I always love going back to basketball, the story that I think we all know, Michael Jordan.
Yes.
But he was always exceptional, but he didn't win his first championship till maybe 6th or 7th year in the league. And the story there was that he was exceptional, but it wasn't until he and others sort of realised, well, Michael, you can do all the glamorous things and be amazing, but we can't build a team with 4 or 5 Michael Jordans.
No.
We need to build a team with people that are the complete opposite to you, that do the other things to complement what you do. And it's not until that puzzle came together that he found the success that he did, and he talks about that. And some of the players that they brought to his team were complete opposite to him in every way. Yeah. In both the sort of style of basketball, but also how they live their life, right? But it's when you put all that together, it produced amazing results.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's that sort of lesson's always stayed true to me around that.
Yeah, something I've learned as well with my team. Like, I mean, we like to think we can do everything all the time. And whilst it's nerve-wracking bringing on that first team member, it's just been so like empowering, number one, but it's also opened up an entire skill set of, different creatives.
Yeah.
Which has been great. And I've
yeah.
realized where my strengths are and, where someone else's strengths might be. So it really does just create so much opportunity for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's good for the people that work around you, right? Because one, if most, and we can't always do what we want and what we're good at all the time, but if most of us are kind of doing what we want and what we're good at a lot of the time, then we're all going to be a whole lot more effective and a whole lot less stressed and a whole lot more engaged and those sorts of things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Bill, I know you have an interest in history.
I do. Yeah. I and it's sort of come relatively late in my life, or I've just been able to find it late in my life. But yeah, I think again, it's sort of history gives you a great perspective of where we are today.
Yeah.
And it gives you that ability to again take a step back and think, well, why is this happening, or what are we doing? So there's so many fascinating stories from history. It is like a giant story.
Pretty much.
And so it's almost shocking that history probably can be taught in a way that's boring, because it's full of amazing people and amazing stories and amazing adventures, and it just helps for me to sort of reflect on what's happened in the past, what lessons might we be able to draw, to see things that while we live in an incredibly modern age, sometimes we encounter the same sorts of things that we as humanity have encountered before. So, yeah.
It reminds me when I went to Greece and there's obviously a lot of ruins, and I went to Delos Island, and I think, don't quote me on this now, but I think it was like so many thousands of years before, like BC.
Yes.
But it was just so incredible. I get quite nostalgic when I go. Then you think, oh my gosh, like what a different way of life. And
that's right.
They were just so equipped in this whole civilization. It's fascinating, I find.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I, at a, probably not at a, there were Roman ruins in France. But yes, for me, spending time in Europe, obviously Australia has a huge history as well.
Yes.
It's not as sort of obvious, it's harder to find. But yeah, living among streets where there'd been fighting during world wars and things like that, and it really makes you think.
It does. And someone actually mentioned, obviously I'm from South Africa, so I'm a bit rusty on Australian history, but someone mentioned there was a battle at Lake Monga, I think it was.
Yes.
And we just did parkrun there, and I was like, oh my word. Wow, quite startling. Hey, there was a big.
There was.
Yes, please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, look, I don't know.
I think there was a battle or something.
But there was, because I think for the Aboriginal people, Lake Munga was a place of food and rest. And white people probably came in and were completely ignorant to all that. So there was, and it's quite remarkable, that history. There's I think a place in the Northern Territory called Attack Creek, because the Scottish explorer Stuart was attacked there, and it's quite confronting, really, that to this day we still call it Attack Creek. So lots of history just right around us as well.
South Africa's the same so much. So Bill, if you could redesign a single system in Australia, economic, social or governmental, where would you start and why?
Oh God!
How much time do we need?
Redesign a single.
I mean,
system.
There can be a couple if you if you can think of a few.
Two things spring to mind. One's really sort of close to home for me, and maybe a little bit part of, I think, a journey that I might sort of start to go on, and that's about economics and the view. I think economists haven't really sold themselves very well. We haven't really marketed ourselves very well. So economics is fascinating and important, and I think there's something there a conversation to be had with the community around that. And I find most people, when I start doing economics, it's kind of like, oh, so you deal with all the money stuff. Economics is actually around trying to help society make the best choices, balancing sort of wealth, welfare, health, happiness, all those sorts of things.
It's not just singular.
And trying to work out, well, we've got a sort of limited amount of resources, how do we best use them to get the best outcome for communities? So I think there's a lot of broadening of that conversation that needs to be had, and I'm keen to give it a go.
Great.
And similarly, and maybe this is my own prejudice, but in the fields and people that I mix with often sort of comment that they think government's really dull and boring as well. And in the same vein, I think completely, like, what could be more challenging than a government trying to get the best outcomes it can for a community with balancing so many competing needs and interests and the like. So I don't know, they're changing systems, but maybe some narrative changes there to embark on. I've got a couple young kids, and I think our education system, we could probably think about changing that in a way that I think there's two things. I think that sort of caters to the needs of all students, and there's wonderful people in our education system doing these things. So this isn't a sort of criticism of people in the system. It's just more about how we think about it and how governments set it up. It's actually quite a dated sort of model, if you like. And watching my kids, they're going to grow into a world where that model's not really helpful for them.
No.
They're going to go into a world where, with technology, they could sort of do anything. They're not going to be, I think, sort of looking for 9-to-5 jobs like I
think it's be very different.
They're going to need to be creative and entrepreneurial and connect with people and generate ideas and those sorts of things. And I'm not sure we're quite geared yet to giving our kids the best platform to go and do amazing things in the world that they're going to grow into. Maybe it's okay for our world, but with the pace of change in society that we're seeing, I think it warrants sort of us thinking about our education system.
The change is so fast, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that just means the skills that our future sort of leaders are going to need, I think, will be very different to today's.
And Bill, what's next for you?
What's next for me? Gosh, well, as I said at the outset, so I've sort of just taken on this new role, so I've got a lot of energy and thought to apply to that.
Great.
But I think what's next for me is probably, I love writing, and I've sort of wrestled with myself, and I've convinced myself that I must sort of make sure I create the time and space to start writing again.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means really in terms of, it's not a plan. Again, it's probably the theme of today. It's kind of, it's a passion.
Yeah.
So I want to do that and see what happens. So yeah, I think I'm going to start sort of, writing various pieces around the things I get the privilege to be exposed to.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
In my role. I think there's some really interesting conversations that I'd like to help community think about and have. So, yeah, maybe there's something there in terms of some writing on the side. And I don't know, beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd love to know if you could go back to Bill before he went to France, what's one bit of advice you give him?
I think it would be, and it's quite a simple one, right? I think it would be not to worry.
Yeah.
I think it would be, you know, I'm sort of sitting here today saying some of these things that I've learned, but it's interesting to go back and think about how I learned that. And typically I learn lessons by doing things the wrong way and then finding a better way. But I think about probably all the energy I must have consumed being worried about this might happen, that might happen, these people might think this of me.
Yeah, so many of us do that, right?
Yeah. And in a way, that's all probably, you know, wasted might be too strong a word, but it's not super productive energy. And I think that comes back to how I try and lead the teams that I do in my current job, is that I want people to come worry-free, because all that worry is just a distraction from us doing what we need to do. So a safe environment, let's do what we do what we do best, and the rest is sort of out of our hands. So I think that would be the thing, you know. Just do it, don't worry. You know, it'll turn out all right if your heart's in a good place. You know, good things will happen. Yeah, and I think we also, maybe there's also something that's relevant here, is that there's probably, I heard someone talk about this the other day. Like, we as humans tend to spend a lot of time thinking about, or is this the right decision, or is this the right decision?
Yeah, weighing it all up.
Path A or path B, and that sort of mindset sort of comes back to a view that, well, deep down do we think there's a right path for us, and that path B is going to be far better than path A?
Yeah.
I think in reality that doesn't sort of make any sense, right? So it's sort of, so what we don't spend much time doing is, once we've made a big decision, or as much time, is then think about, okay, I've made this decision, how do I now achieve what I want to achieve, having gone down this route? So I think sort of looking back, I would say don't sort of fret around making pivotal life choices with a view that there's a right way and a wrong way. There's not. You know, both are messy and amazing and beautiful, and both are subject to so many external things. But, you know, make the decision and then worry about how you get the best. I don't want to use the word worry, but then think about how you get the best out of that decision. And so that's something I really try and live with a lot today, when a lot of decisions come across my desk, is, you know, either path might be terrible, either path might be great. Pick one and then focus on executing it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And Bill, I feel called to ask the next question. So when you went to France, and I'm asking this because sometimes people worry, we get so lost in our head, me included, before we make a decision, that it's just sometimes we need to hear someone else's perspective to give ourselves permission to do something. So before you went to France, which was such a big leap of faith, was there something within you that said, just go for it? Or was that like a sign, I guess? Or did you just kind of feel so called to do it? It was a no-brainer?
No, I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer. It was always something I sort of would have dreamed about and thought about. And as I say, I love the whole cycling scene in Europe is amazing.
Yes, so I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, and I've watched it from a young boy. So, even just riding on the same roads and the same mountains that the Tour de France riders rode on, for me, was an amazing
definitely.
experience. But I think I needed and had the gift of a lot of people around me saying, yeah, do it. Believing in me.
Yes, yeah.
Because I always, it's funny if you consider me a high performer, I think in a way what comes with that is an incredible amount of doubt in an ironic sort of way, which sort of doesn't stack up. But I think it comes back to being super critical of yourself. So I have a few really, really good friends.
Yeah, great.
And they helped me immensely. They said, do it. I remember my good friend, we were sitting on our veranda one evening and talking about this. And it was sort of like, well, if I do it, well, France is a big place. What do I do? Where do I go in France? Well, and we got out a map and he pointed to this little town called Aix-en-Provence. And he said, go here. It's nice. And I went, okay. I don't have a better answer or a retort. He said, no, you can ride your bike there. It's beautiful. He'd been recently. It's a nice little place. There's places to swim. So the decision wasn't sort of where's the best triathlon scene and where's the best coach and where's the best this and where's the best that. It was an example, I guess, of one of those decisions, which is like, well, here's as good a place as any.
Yeah,
so
just go for
do
it.
that. And God, didn't it turn out to be amazing? Like
awesome.
the people I was so lucky to meet over there. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't it interesting sometimes that faith that others have in us can sort of take us to new heights? Sometimes we don't even believe in ourselves or that we can do something.
Yes.
And then, a couple of people might say, just do it or just go for it. And then it just pushes you into that next level, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's also, again, it's easy to say, but it's sort of, well, what's the worst that can happen?
Yes.
You can hate it and catch a plane back the next week. And pretend it never happened.
Yeah, and just erase it from your memory.
But it's true, in sort of, again, often a perspective is, well, what is the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
So, often the worst is not that scary.
Very, very true. Bill, any final words of wisdom before we sign off?
Oh gosh, words of wisdom. No, look, I think we've touched on everything. I think for all of us, if we should sort of believe in ourselves and our own uniqueness and be ourselves, right? I think that's something I've learned through many years, probably not being myself and probably thinking I have to be someone or something.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
But, I think we all have amazing gifts and perspectives. So, know what they are and live them and everything will, I think, be wonderful.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Never
all of the time.
No. Wonderful and messy.
Yeah.
Great, Bill. Well, thank you so much for all that you've shared.
Thank you.
So glad to have crossed paths with you. I think you're an exceptional elite operator, shall we say. And thank you for sharing your story with us.
A pleasure. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you. Welcome.
Okay.
Cheers.